Welcome to Asian Pacific Voices Radio, where you'll find stimulating conversations that explore diverse topics and stories impacting our Asian Pacific American communities. I'm your host, Rasha Goal. And joining me today is an award-winning documentarian, producer, and actor, and someone I have known for many years. He received an Emmy for his cultural film, Festival of Saraswati Puja, and has earned 9 Emmy nominations across various categories, which is no easy feat. Beginning his acting journey at just 4 years old, his passion led him to master 5 languages and secure roles in shows or productions such as Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Ms. Marvel. He's produced and directed the docuseries Festivals, which aired on Discovery Asia, and most recently wrapped a 6-part cultural exploration series filmed in Portugal titled On a Quest. It is my pleasure to welcome Jaswant Shrestha to Asian Pacific Voices Radio. Jaswant, welcome. Thanks for being here
Thank,
today.
thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
You know, you have such a diverse background, especially having dabbled your feet in so many different aspects of the entertainment industry. So, what inspired you to pursue a career in acting and filmmaking, especially at such a young age? 4 years old?
Yeah, I was a big fan growing up in Nepal, Bollywood movie fans. So just getting moved by the actors, watching on the big screen, made me cry, made me laugh. And I just wanted to be an entertainer like that. That's how it started. All the technical different hyphenate hats came later on as I grew up and see started learning about, creation, writing is a creation, directing is a creation. These all was introduced to me later on when I went to Mumbai, which is also known as Bollywood, to be an actor many years ago, and hanging out with all the filmmakers, assistants, and them dragging me along to their sets and in their meetings and stuff like that. So that's how I got interested towards creating.
I'm so fascinated by the fact that you grew up in Nepal. How long were you there for before you made that move over to Mumbai?
Well, I went to Mumbai in when I was 18, almost 18, yeah. But in back in Nepal, I used to do a lot of plays, bunk run away from school and go watch movies, do my attendance, and
Is it fair to assume, just want that the sorry, I cut you off there. I just want to know, is it fair to assume that you had limited access to the film and television world?
yes. The films that I consumed when I was growing up was either running away from school and going to the theater and being on the first seat of the theater, somehow getting in, or the other option was black and white television in my village area, other people's house, and Saturdays we used to get this Doordarshan Indian movies coming in, and a lot of those Mickey Mouse and He-Man shows on Sundays. So yeah, I had to really make a trip and walk along, go other people's house and watch it. That's how I was introduced to the films. That was the only access.
Well, and I find that fascinating given all that you have achieved and your accolades, especially when you had such little exposure. And Doordarshan, by the way, is a very popular channel. A lot of people have grown up in India and across watching that channel and getting exposed. Let's talk about your Emmy. You won an Emmy for the episode Festival of Saraswati Puja, and that's one of the Indian goddesses. It's a cultural series that was under the Outstanding Documentary for the religion category, which is very interesting. So tell us about this docu-series and how does it feel to be again running for a potential Emmy this year?
Well, Festivals is a 5-part series, and it's a cultural festival. All the festivals are based on Hinduism, and it's practiced in Nepal. So, I have if episode for Dasera, which is Durga Puja in India, Tihar, which is Diwali in India. It's the same concept. It comes from Hinduism. And why I wanted to create this is living in the U.S. and having my own children growing up here. I'm very close to my culture. So culture preservation is a big thing for me. And I started making this, you know, for myself, for my kids. 20 years down the line, when they grow up and watch this, a lot of the practices are fading away, and it is gradually disappearing, uh,
Hmm.
how I was 20 years ago and how I practice these festivals are so much different now.
Yeah.
So this was my effort to preserve that for the future generation who would want or have an interest to learn about this. So that's how it started. It was a long process, as you know, being in LA, trying to do other things and producing your own content. Have been through a roller coaster ride, but it was worth it.
As we all
And
have and are.
yeah, each episodes were recognized and nominated. But Saraswati Puja, which being the goddess of knowledge and music, that was the episode which gave me one of my childhood dreams of holding that Emmy. So yeah.
I love that for you, Jaswant. And I think also just being South Asian and having grown up around these cultural and religious events, sometimes it could be a deterrence or hindrance to actually come out and share. So I'm really glad that you did do that, because not only does it serve as an educational tool for those in our community, but I feel it's a great way to exposing other people, right, on a global level of what these religions entail. And I'm so with you. I think a lot of the value or the way it's celebrated is dying. So I hope that this will revive that within people. Now, you also can speak 5 languages. So I want to know all 5. What are the languages that you speak, and how has speaking these languages influenced your career and the projects that you've chosen to work on?
5 languages are obviously Nepali, Hindi, Urdu, and Bengali, which is used in Calcutta and the western part of India, and a little bit of English. So
A little.
how how I learned all these languages? Obviously, Hindi came very easily because of Bombay and watching Hindi movies and things like that. Urdu is very close to Hindi, but it's very sophisticated, I think, very respectful, which is used in Pakistan. And a lot of the lyrics of Bollywood songs are from Urdu. They use those beautiful Urdu words. That's why the songs are so beautiful. So, and just learning songs really gave me access to pronounce those words right, you know and the Bengali was a tricky one. When I was in Bombay, I used to be live in a place called Marina Guest House. This is a very famous guest house where lots of actors and filmmakers in the past had moved and stayed there and all that. So still it operates as a hostel for filmmakers and actors. So I ended up in that place. And that was the best thing for me, was because I was the youngest there. Everybody working in the industry who were living there saw themselves in me. So they were
Nice.
taking me to the set, they were taking me to the studio, all those things. And all of those people who were taking me around were all Bengalis from Calcutta.
Mm.
And one thing they're known for is when Bengali and Bengali meet, they never speak any other language. So I was with like 5, 6, 7 of those speaking that, and that's how I learned it. And thank God I learned it. That has given me so many times I've got hired to speak that language, right? In
Yeah.
ADR sessions, like I did, as you said, Miss Marvel, all 6 episodes of ADRs, small characters here that creating those environments and stuff like that. And I get sometimes get hired to speak Urdu. Sometimes I get hired to speak Hindi only or Bengali. Nepali is very less, but it does
Rare.
happen. Yeah, yeah, very rare, but it does happen. And I speak very, very fluently. So any native person I can have a nice conversation with, and or maybe sing a song for them too. So
I love that. Yeah, well, and for people who don't know, Bengali is it's not an easy language, at least I feel, to learn. It's so, the dialect is so different compared to some of the other languages. So hats off to you, to be able to do that and then to be able to bring that into your work. Now, of course, you just mentioned Miss Marvel, and we were mentioning Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness earlier. You have any fun behind the scenes stories with any of these productions?
Well, actually, yeah. The one thing, the first time I did, I'll talk about the ADR session that I did for Disney. I did a voice for Nepali character and Indian reporter characters when in the movie called Planes. The plane go around the world, go to India, and go to the mountain of Nepal and everything like that, right? So I played the monk in there. But what had happened is that was the first time I was in a big ADR session. This is like 13 years ago, right? And then you're in the Disney theater, and they project the film in the biggest screen possible for the voices, right? And then I'm doing something, I'm doing my voice, and then the recordist or the director, voice director says, "Just one, can you see that green car back over there? There's hundreds of cars, and the lips are moving there. Can we put something in there?" Wow, that's the detail. I was like, there's hundreds of cars, like, and they just like, picks that one. So it's so inspiring to see how much detailed they work on. Back home, growing up, knowing a lot of the time with independent, we can't do like that, and they just slap in the
Hmm.
music, and all the all the environment noise is gone, right? The music overpowers, but the beauty of that sound, because everything has sound,
Hmm.
just how beautifully they work. Yeah, it's not a funny. I mean, it's funny for me, but it's so detailed. I really appreciate how much it goes into doing those small little sounds.
Well, so you had to come up with something then, right? On the spot of what can
Yeah,
this green car be saying?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You just improv in there. Yeah,
Okay.
put it something in there.
I think this was Planes with Priyanka Chopra in it.
Yes,
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 I
that was the one.
remember that movie. I covered the junket for it. Talk about wow. Okay, it was such a sweet movie, and I do remember that they had highlighted India and Nepal, and I was very excited about that. I was like, yes, we made the
Yeah,
Disney animation.
yeah. No, it's
um,
really opening up.
It is. Well, and now we see that expanding, of course. Just when you've also done commercials for Facebook and Dell Technologies. So when you're actually acting, how does that experience differ from when you're working on the films or documentaries? Because you're more on the creative side for those, right? As far as behind the camera.
Hmm. Yeah, it's for commercial, it's like easy day, I guess, and it's also, as an actor, I go in for commercials, so which is my first love. And only being two people, or sometimes only single, you only being the limelight for that day, right? Like 80 people are working and you are the only performing. That it feels really good.
Mm,
So the Facebook commercial was, had millions of views. And when I got the Facebook commercial, I was like, okay, it's Facebook commercial. And I thought somebody is doing a commercial and putting it on Facebook. And when I got the call, she's like, no, it's actually a
actually,
Facebook commercial. So yeah, so things changed after that, right? The way you look at it. But it was a really good, what do you call, promotion at that time. Now, because it was a union project, that video does not exist anymore. They can only see
mm,
where I posted things, because they were like famous songs as well. And you know how we have contracts that it only can be for a certain amount of time.
right, right.
Beautiful song was one of the songs that I really liked. Chances, where are the chances? That was this track in the back. It was really fun.
Mhm,
With Dell, it was kind of like a dream come true. I got to do an ADR for this 300 movie when I was here, many years ago.
mhm.
And Neo Moro is the director of that film, and Dale commercial happened to be directed by him. And it was pretty surreal experience for me. And and in Nepal, I had seen 300 movie, and all of a sudden you're working with him, so that was pretty cool. And the DP was from the person who filmed The Great Gatsby, with Leonardo. He's putting that lens on you. So, yeah, it's a different kind of satisfaction.
I love
And
when the universe kind
yeah,
of brings that kind of stuff together for us, right? I mean, it truly
mhm,
is magical.
it is. It really is.
And then, but how does that differ from when, do you feel like you're more stressed out maybe when you are behind the scene when you're doing documentaries or other filmmaking?
Yes, yes, more stress, more things to juggle at the same time. Especially producing part is um, really tough. I find it more difficult, but I mean, it's more satisfying and fun to put it all together, the whole team together, and make it happen. But at the same time, it's like a lot of stress that you have to go through. And two of the most stressed times, or the stress I feel, is during producing and post production,
Ah, of course.
editing. Yeah,
Yes. Putting it
yeah.
all together. Well, then if we look at your multiple hats that you wear, right? Acting, producing, directing, and voice acting, doing ADRs, which one would you say that you enjoy the most? And then which one is the most challenging for you?
Acting is what I enjoy the most. It
Okay.
just frees you up, that's more satisfying to me. And again, the producing is the most hardest thing, because it goes from inception, thinking about doing it, to actually making it happen, and
Mm.
going through the post production thing, and then sell it. It just continues on and on. Yeah, that's the most difficult part.
It's a lot of work. Do you feel though, just want that we are now in a time period where you can't just be an actor anymore, right? It's almost, I feel like you have to be versatile and have other skill sets. What are your thoughts on that, given your
Oh,
experience?
I'm a big believer of hyphenating, and it's not now that happened. I've been hyphenating 20 years ago,
Right.
and it was because of necessity. It was not that, I mean, right now, I want to work with 20 people doing one thing at a time. I love that. I want to share that. I want to have that collaboration. But at the same time, with low budget stuff or independent stuff, you don't have that liberty. You can't hire a person to work for 6 months without paying them, or 2 months, or
Yeah.
one day, the matter of fact. So it's I was recently actually talking to somebody at the academy about the hyphenation. I'm a voting member of the television academy with multiple hyphenation. And then um, early on, as an actor, when I was going to this casting workshops and all those SAG after uh, conversations and all that, they used to all be like, you have to do something else. You can't just be an actor.
Mm,
You have to produce it, make it happen. And and if we see now, IMDb, every actor who's doing great job, they have producers as well.
yep. Yep.
So I'm glad that I started 20 years ago, and I'm still doing it. So yeah, it's very important. It's very important, especially for us, I think, also because we have to write the stories that we want to tell.
Right. Especially when it comes to the Asian American communities, right?
Yeah, who's going to write for us? Nothing bad with stereotypical things happening, but we live here. Our kids are growing up here. We do other professions. We are blended into the
Mm-hmm.
American culture. So, and I don't blame for not writing enough. It's that their point of view, they're doing it. So, we have to do our part. Be a creator, a writer, and blend it in, I guess.
Agreed. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think it's important because that's the only way we'll be able to truly, number one, grow within our community stories and share those, but also that voice of being authentic, right? And
Hmm.
really making sure that the voices are heard in a correct manner,
Right.
because we've already lived the stereotypes. I want to jump back really quick to your docuseries festivals. It was acquired by the Discovery Channel, and we know that getting distribution is one of the most challenging things in this industry. So, talk to us about what that creative process was like. Getting this in, and which festival featured was your favorite.
Okay, so distribution is a whole different animal for us, independent producers. Through the trying to make this happen, I initially wanted to do a 16 episode series. That was my previous thought. I had, labeled it out like how I'm going to make this happen and all that. I went to all the markets, Meep TV, all this, you name it. I've been to those markets. Had a one-on-one meetings with people to try to raise fund or show interest to produce this. But it didn't happen. I mean, they liked the idea, they saw the scissor reel and this and that. It didn't happen. But now what do I do? It's not happening, but I have to tell this story, no
Mhm.
matter how I have to make it. So it took me 3 years to make it, working a little bit, doing this, doing, somehow I managed to make it happen, and reach back out to the same people that, this 3 years ago I was trying to raise money, didn't get money, but I made it happen. And here's the thing, here's the show. And that's how actually RAI television in Italy got picked up. It dubbed in Italian language. Discovery happened recently. SBS Australia is also premiering in July. So slowly, but it took a lot to get this happen. And then I somehow made it happen. And you have to, I always think of myself as an actor, as a producer, as a filmmaker. We are no different than a poet. Poet are not going to wait for anybody's
Mhm.
validation to write. If he or she feels something, she's getting up middle of
Yeah.
the night, she'll write it, and whatever happens. And so that's the same way I approach my filmmaking, is like, I have to tell this, I got to figure out how I'm going to do it and make it happen. So
Well, I love that you made it happen because sometimes it's so disheartening when you don't get funding and people just leave their project. And look at this. And I mean, an Emmy win later and then being, distributed on Discovery Channel. It's huge. So hats off to you, just one.
thank
Congrats
you.
on that. And now we're looking at trying to get you another Emmy nomination with your 6-part cultural exploration TV series On a Quest with Just One, which is filmed in Portugal. So what can people expect from this new series?
This is exciting. This is very, very exciting to me, personally, because I'm also hosting and filming it, right? So it's told
Fun.
from a filmmaker's POV. Both of the things that I like to do is included in this, and this travel exploration series really allowed me to do that. Um, there's so many different kind of travel shows that I've grown up with. I've done travel shows in Nepal, back home as well, backpacking, going somewhere, and I had to find something unique, never told in this way before. So I trying to find something unique just gave me like blend both of them together and really actually go and live and explore this unknown world. So choosing Portugal was like growing up in school. I used to get good numbers, A plus in history, because history told stories, and I was really fascinated by, always been fascinated by the Western culture and, stories and wars and whatnot. So Portugal, people, when they watch it, they are going to see something unknown, unseen stuff, more reality. It's not a travel show where I'm telling, go to Lisbon, take a bus. This, no, it's nothing like that. It's going into people's lives, going into their houses, going on a fishing trip into the Atlantic, 10 hours, middle of the night, with local fishermen. Those are the stories, you know. And it's, yeah, but my when I wanted to do this, when with my executive producer and DP friends in Portugal, I was telling them, I want something that's not seen on YouTube, or very less known, very less known. And I really want to go into people's houses. If they agree to be in the film, if I'm interested, I want to go inside and see everything. So that's how it is. It's a very personal, and a very personal level. Yeah, and along the way you see all this beautiful, beautiful images of this beautiful country.
I love this. How exciting. And now, how does this play into, so you're up for a possible Emmy consideration? I know we're trying to get the word out there. Tell us about that.
So basically, if you are not funded by a studio or anything like that, then you have to go through a lot of vetting process with the academy. So the quality is there, everything is there. So um, we got into five categories now. Non-hosted nonfiction series, which is the most exciting, and
Yeah.
the people who are running on that is are the people that I've learned from and I have admired. In the same category, there's Morgan Freeman, Oprah Winfrey,
Amazing.
Orlando Bloom, Eugene Levy, David Letterman. More names are there, but I know I'm going to get crushed by every one of
Oh,
them,
come on. We
which
can't
I'm
put that out
okay.
just once. We got to put good vibes, good vibes.
but
Let's
but
manifest this for you.
but I've learned so much from them, and over the years, and I've admired their work, and just being there, it's great. And also, it's going for a outstanding director of a nonfiction series, editing, which I've spent years doing this. That's also in the competition, writing and cinematography for my team. So yeah, it
Amazing. I mean, this is incredible. So you have an opportunity in these different categories to be nominated for an Emmy.
yeah,
Okay.
76th primetime Emmys,
Yeah, I
right?
mean it's
Yeah.
huge. And how long did you how long did On a Quest with Just One film for? I mean, or how many years has it been in the making
It
for this project?
total 4 years on and
Okay.
off, but I went three times. Every time was a 30-day schedule, filming different things, different stories in different regions. And at last, after, because the pandemic happened in between, so what I
Mm,
did is, after the pandemic, I added 2 more weeks to go right after the pandemic was lifted, just to go and film all the exteriors of the same place that I went. So that's why in the trailer, if you see in Lisbon, you can actually count people flying the drone,
that's
and that's not the
amazing.
case. You got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, walking around in Lisbon, in the castles. Like 2018, 19, the footage that I have has hundreds of thousands of people. Like, it doesn't look good. But now, after the pandemic, you can literally count three or four people walking around. So
I
it just
love
gives that
that.
beautiful image, how it's supposed to be. So thanks to the pandemic just for that. But
Well, listen, here at Asian Pacific Voices Radio, we are putting out our good vibes for you to receive a couple of Emmy noms. So it would be wonderful to see. I've got just a few minutes here that I've got to wrap this up. And so I want to ask you two quick questions before we go. First of all, oh, wait, I need to ask you really quick. Is there a possible season two for this one, for the On a Quest with Just One in Portugal?
yes, yes, there is the couple places in consideration.
Okay.
It could be Nepal, but it would also be, the one thing that I really want to do is Mongolia.
Ooh, that would
Remote.
be fun. Just what? If you need a co-host, I might be available for you. I'm just
Okay.
saying. I'm just saying.
Great.
um, what you have been through so much, and I've always inspired your tenacity, your commitment. I hate using the word hustle, but I know it's one that many use. So, what advice would you give to young, inspiring filmmakers or actors out there?
Well, just follow your dream. Look at look at yourself in the mirror, and is this what you really want to do? If you do, then just go for it. Make it happen. There are people who wants to collaborate with you. Not having enough money and not doing content is not an issue. Not an what do you call
A
uh,
reason or
reason
excuse.
anymore, excuse anymore, because there's, like, so many, like, cell phones can take so great videos these days. So just create, and and follow your dreams, I guess. Yeah, that's what
I
I'll say.
love that. I know you've been doing that. It's been so incredible. I mean, and I have to say, as a fellow South Asian, it really is a proud moment when you see your friends, your colleagues shining in these lights. And I'm going to end with asking you if you could collaborate with any filmmaker or actor, living or deceased, who would it be and why?
Wow, this is a tough one, I know, but I'm gonna keep it short. Uh, man, it really is. I'm sorry if I don't take your name, guys. There's so many of them, but if I want to do one person
One.
who's living right now, um, it would be Kate Winslet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's lovely. And why is
because
that?
she because first of all, Titanic, I had a big crush on her. But second of all, the kind of role she does and how much work different she risks that she takes, so yeah, for that reason, yeah, I would love to work with her someday.
And her evolution has been so interesting to me from when she first came into the industry and how she's grown and how she just owns it as a actress and woman right now.
Hmm.
I'm very intrigued by her and also very inspired. So, all right, well, hopefully that will happen in the next few years. And we're wishing you the best. Before we head out here, is there a website or any social media handles where our viewers and audience can find you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Jaswant Shrestha, my full name, and jaswantdevshrestha.com also, my website. Yeah, that's where I am, and I share my daily activities, work activities.
Yes, he's
So,
very active, very active. Well, just want to stress that once again, I'd love to thank you for being on our show and just sharing your journey with us. Again, we are wishing you the best as the Emmy consideration is going on, and we hope to see you there. And for all of you out there that are listening or watching, we also want to hear from you, our valued listeners. So, about any suggestions on future guests or topics that you would like to have, please do share with us. And also remember, do not forget to subscribe to our program on your favorite podcast platform. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. Make sure you are tapped into our YouTube channel. We have so many exciting things happening there. And lastly, Asian Pacific Voices Radio is produced by Asian Culture and Media Alliance. We are a nonprofit that empowers the Asian Pacific American community with a voice through media arts. Now, we do need your support, and we love that you have been with us for so long. So if you'd like to support our program, please do visit us at AsianPacificVoicesRadio.com. Once again, I'm Rasha Goel, and don't forget to join us for another exciting and thought-provoking show on Asian Pacific Voices Radio. Have a great week, and I will see you soon.